Hi, this is Dan Whitney with the Whitney Law Firm in Towson, Maryland. Today we're going to talk about car dealer fraud in the very interesting area of car dealers forging their customer's signature for the purpose of opening a bank account at a credit union. So you might ask yourself, why in the world would a car dealer open a bank account in somebody's name and their customer's name at a credit union? And of course, when answering any question involving why does a car dealer do something dishonest, the question is because it's going to help them make money. Now, in these situations, and I have two of these cases currently, what happens is somebody goes in to purchase a vehicle and they believe they have financing with another lender. And what ends up happening is, one way or another, they find out that financing fell through with the lender they thought that they were approved through. And what happens is this. They come to find out that the car dealer has forged their signature on an account opening form and sometimes also on a loan application form that was sent to a credit union. And the reason that this happens is because credit unions often require that a consumer opens a bank account with them in order to qualify for getting the financing that they're offering. And so you might say to yourself, well, why would anybody care if they have to open an account or not if they're going to get to save, a percentage point or half a point or whatever on their interest rate? And what happens is these car dealers that engage in these forgeries and opening these fake accounts or opening these accounts without disclosing it to the customer, without their permission, of course, is usually what happens is financing falls through and the dealer does not want to let the customer know that financing fell through, because at least in Maryland, if financing falls through and the dealer has to go get financing elsewhere, there's a very strong argument that the customer has the right to walk away under the spot delivery law and say, you know what, financing didn't work out, I'm done. And then the dealer loses the opportunity to push them into a new deal, even if it has better terms. The customer may still want to say, listen, I've thought about this, I've had some time. This is not something I want to get into. Not being approved for financing is actually a blessing in disguise. I'm out, I'm done. Take your car, give me my down payment, and I'm out, which is totally fine, and they're allowed to do it. But what happens is the dealer will find financing elsewhere, like at these credit unions, and they do what they need to do to get financing at these lower rates, including opening a bank account in their name. And the customer often does not find out that this has happened until perhaps they check their credit. They see that their credit was run by the credit union. They say, what is this? I thought my deal was done on, say, February 1st. Why is my credit being run on February 10th? They check with Credit Karma or one of the numerous credit apps that are really good and can tell you what's going on with your credit history or your credit profile. And what happens often is that the customer will then contact the credit union and say, listen, why'd you run my credit? What are you doing? Or they'll get something in the mail from the credit union that says, hey, welcome to, Federal Credit Union, and your first payment is due on X date. And they say, what are you talking about? I never opened an account with you. I never got financing from you. And at least what happened in one of my current cases is the credit union says, oh, thank you, Miss So-and-so. You actually did open an account with us, that you had to open that account in order to get financing. And that's how you got financing. And she says, what are you talking about? Please send me all my documents. And of course, the customer ends up getting the documents, sees that an account has been opened in her name. Her signature was signed to a document that she never signed, which is the F word, fraud. And what happens next is she obtained counsel, and we filed suit, and we're going down the road, and the dealer violated the spot delivery law, fraud, forgery, identity theft. There appears to be bank fraud, wire fraud, which are criminal statutes, but are still worth mentioning because of the heavy penalties they carry. And my guess, whenever you see a car dealer do something bad, it's very rare it's the first time. So one thing we'll be getting into with this lawsuit is, what's your pattern in practice? Was this the first time you decided to engage in identity theft and credit fraud, or bank fraud and wire fraud, or is this your second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th time, whatever? And we'll find that out. So the takeaway from all of this happening is, if you ever find yourself with a loan through a credit union and you did not agree to open a bank account, call the credit union and say, listen, I want to know, do I have a bank account with you guys? And if the dealer opened up a bank account in your name, then you have serious legal recourse against them. It's not part of a normal car contract to have an account opened in your name. When an account is open in your name, all of a sudden, if there's limits on what can go in and out of that account, you may be facing low balance fees. There may be all sorts of fees associated with it. All sorts of things can happen if a bank account exists that you don't know about. It can be stolen easier, money in that account, or it can be moved through that account easier without your knowledge. There's a whole host of things that should happen. And the bottom line is, of course, if you want to open a bank account, that's fine. But if your finance manager wants to open a bank account for you without your permission, it's a problem, and it's a big problem, and you should be aware of your rights. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Take care, and if you need a car problem taken a look at and it happened in Maryland, please feel free to give me a call. Thanks a lot. Take care.